It's nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me and my brother who will speak after me. I will talk about movement. At first I got into movement for myself, for my own health. I was blowing out my back once or twice a year, and I was hurting my ankle playing football. One of my inner thigh muscles and tendon was getting aggravated as well, so I decided to look into it and find out what are the causes and if there was something I could do about this. So that's how I got into it, and it's really interesting. I find it super interesting and I'm passionate about it. So if I get carried away, you just stop me a little bit if I get too technical or something like that. And I have to thank my brother as well a little bit, because he's the one encouraging me to go more publicly with this information. So maybe, we can reach some more people and give some tools to people. They can look at themselves and maybe help themselves without going to doctors or specialists. So it was a good feedback from organizers for me, because at first I sent in the things I was going to talk about. Posture, gait, bending down, sitting down. And I got the reply back is like, what is there to talk about? We all walk, we all stand, we all bend down. And it made me think that I need to be more clear. What is it that I'm doing and talking about? So, and then I came back with an improved description of my presentation. And what I came up with is that not all movement is equal. We can stand in different ways. We can walk in different ways, bend down and sit down. So, and it's a good thing to know the difference, right? What keeps us strong and maintains our health and physical body strong, and what can potentially hurt us. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. We're going to go some movements, and as I mentioned, posture and gait. And I will show you the markers and the things to pay attention to, so we can implement it into our daily lives, and easy ways to just keep an eye on things. Right. And I thought as well, like, why do we need to talk about movement? And then I went to World Health Organization website. It's the article from 2022, and I think it explains everything clearly. 1.71 billion people have musculoskeletal conditions worldwide. It's a leading contributor to disability worldwide. Low back pain, single leading cause of disability. It lowers levels of well-being and is rapidly increasing. So I think that draws our attention to at least ask ourselves what's going on, right? Is it something that happens to us, or is it the result of something that we do? And I believe that in the most cases, it's the result of our movement and postural habits. There are conditions, of course, birth defects and stuff like that. But I'm talking general population, and I believe we can do something about that. This is the only one low quality slide in my presentation, I promise. I want to just quickly speak about difference between movement and exercise. Here we have two professional athletes. They spend most of their time in the gym, right? So they're super fit. We might not see how fit they are from this picture, but if I showed you frontal views and in action, you would see they're really ripped, right? So what happens when they're outside the gym, right? And we can see here that they still encounter postural problems. Their posture is not optimal. And I will talk later about these two vertical lines which go through the body, right? So in relation to us who are not professional athletes, we can go to a gym or to yoga class, right? Work out for 1 hour, hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it is. And we think we're done, you know. I'm done. That's it. I've done my part. Let life continue. But I would encourage to look at this different way. I would encourage us to look at the whole day as a whole, together as a whole. So even if we go to the gym, I would still encourage us to look what happens during other 14 hours, 15 hours when we're awake. And if I had a choice to pay attention how I move and how I, you know, do static positions during the day, or I would have to go to the gym but then not care what I do the rest of the day. I would always choose what I'm doing during the day without going to gym or yoga Pilates. That will pay greater results in the long term. Of course, the best thing to do is to pay attention how we move daily and go to gym, right? Then it's a golden ticket, and we can expect good results from this. So yes, the point is we can go to gym and then spend the rest of the day in compromising positions, and we can still have dysfunction in our bodies, pain, can lead to long-term problems. So exercise is not solution in itself. Okay, so what is it that we're dealing with, right? We need to know the rules of the game to participate successfully. So there's this always present gravitational pull on Earth, right? Fundamental force of nature, objects with mass attract each other, right? And the bigger object obviously wins, which in our case is the Earth, right? So we get pulled to the Earth, and it draws us downwards towards the center. So, okay, that's theory, but I'm a practical guy. I'd like to find things out, how they work. So let's say I want to find out how the gravity works. Okay, vertical pull, correct? There's another way. People use this in construction as well. It's called plumb line. Plumb means perfect vertical line. So we touch some object with some mass to a string or a cord, and when it stops moving, it gives us a direction of gravitational pull. Okay, perfectly vertical. Yay. Oh, too far. Here I have a multifunctional tool with me. It's a pointer. It's also a balance beam. I quickly will demonstrate, but I brought it here as a pointer mostly. Right, it's self-made. So and then we can practice balancing on one leg. Okay, that was a quick demonstration. Multifunctional, and I hope nobody asked the wrong questions. Okay, before we start, do I have one volunteer here? Brave person.
Yes.
Okay, let's just make sure before you do anything that gravity still works the same way. It does. Would you be so kind to show me 2 ways how you pick up this object? First one is by bending down. Okay, bend down.
You will not hit me?
No. Bending down. Okay, you can drop it down. Still works. And now by sitting down. Okay, thank you very much. Applause, please. And then as we go through the presentation, you're done, thank you. I will give some feedback about what just happened. So, here's my model in the woods. I wish I could say I encountered him in the woods, but that's not the case. Imagine me coming up to somebody in the woods. Can you just, go through some positions with me? Okay, so first, we're going to go through posture, or I like to call it alignment better, because we're aligning body parts among themselves, so we can come to functional posture. So first thing you will notice, or maybe somebody can tell me one difference. What about the legs? In one he has legs, in the other no? No. So you mean feet, yeah? Okay. So, and which one is, how do you think, which one is the, let's call it correct way and less correct? Right one is what? Right. Okay.
One is like ballet dancer, or more correct?
Ballet dancer.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong to stand sometimes like this, yes, but most of the time we would like to stand like this. And more importantly, we would like to walk with our feet straight, right? And the next picture will explain it. Well, I will explain it. So these red lines show the loading our feet experience during walking. So on the left here, we can see that the load is going through the middle of our foot. And our ankle and our toes are bending straight up and down, right? Whereas on the right side, the loading goes on the inside of the foot, and a lot of pressure is felt on the outside of the big toe, right? And you can see that the joints of our toes and ankle, they're not bending straight. They're under angle. So our ankle is rolling in with every step we make. Also, our knee is less stable. So this is the recommended way to stand and walk. Okay. Now, the posture from the sideways. I will not talk about all the markers of functional posture, but I will address, 3 main points. we addressed feet already. So this vertical line I mentioned, I will address it. It's the vertical pull of gravity. And the point of good posture is to align our body with that gravitational pull, so that each body part supports the next one above it. It's like we build the walls of the houses in line with the gravitational pull. It's how the trees grow. So everything is in line with gravity, so it supports itself, and it doesn't have to work really hard. If we have posture which deviates from that line, we experience different loads in the body. Different parts have to participate more and work harder, and we can experience discomfort and pain as a result. So, while it might look funny and it might be a little bit exaggerated to make the point, it's a common posture, and it's called hip thrust, right? And if you observe people in the public transport stops, you will notice that posture quite a lot, right? And you can see that the pelvis, everybody knows what pelvis is. Iegunis? Yes? Okay. So pelvis is in front of the body, and you see there's no support underneath it as much as it's here. Pelvis is supported by our legs, and here is some empty space. So our feet experience more pressure in the front, right? We have bigger bones in the back of our feet, heel, and they are weight-bearing structures. But when our hips are in front of us, front of the foot has to work much harder, and we can develop different kinds of pains in our feet, right? Also notice how lower back is arched, right? So it compresses the vertebra of the lower back, and we can develop some pain in the back as well. Okay, so the first cue after we get our feet straight is to move our hips back. And it might feel strange at first, because we're so used to this is our natural posture, that when we move our hips back, we feel like we're standing like this, but we're standing straight. Okay, so the first cue for ourselves, maybe we have to catch ourselves many times a day moving our hips back. Okay. And now, I think this is one of the most critical points. Position of the head. Again, line of gravity, and ideally we want our head over our shoulders, looking from the side. Then it's basically supported from underneath, and the surrounding structures don't have to do a lot of work to hold it there. But when our head goes forward, there's no support from underneath as much, and gravity pulls on the head in front of our body. So the force that is produced as a result is making our neck and shoulder and upper back muscles work extra. So, for example, if we tilt our head forward by 40%, the weight we have to carry is 22 kilograms. The head weighs around 5 kilograms. But the more it moves forward, the more we have to hold it. The weight increases exponentially, the force it creates, because gravity pulls it and we don't have support. And if we tilt our head 60%, which is, when we're on the phone, the weight increases to 27 kilograms. It's like 7-year-old kid on our shoulders, and we're just watching our tablets and laptops. And so I would really encourage everybody to pay attention where our head is during the day. And that's okay to catch ourselves in that position. That just shows that we're aware, that we're recognizing that, and we just... but the thing is, we don't just lift our head up. We move it backwards. It's like almost like an Indian dance. Right? Because if we just lift it, we like make a compression in our neck. So we kind of like on the rails move it back. Right? And we can use mirror just to check during the day. I have mirror next to my working table. So I'm checking myself regularly, and believe me, I catch myself many times during this day. What are you doing? So, okay, head position, vital. Okay, I mentioned in the description for the presentation two positions, two fundamental positions, bending down and squatting. And here I will explain why I said that all movements are not equal. And this movement is one of them that demonstrates that. And also, this is the movement if we do it functionally, our backs will be protected and stronger, and we will last. Human body has to last 100 years without pain and without dysfunction, and And I have acquaintances and friends younger than me. I will be 47 this year. And I have people around 40 who have had knee surgeries. By the way, guy who had knee surgeries, how does he walk? Right? I have a woman who has hip replaced, 40-year-old. And I have a woman under 40 who had serious back surgery. Right? So it happens differently for all of us, and hopefully we don't need to have any surgeries, so we can start doing things now to prevent it. Okay, so there will be people who will tell you that bending down like this is okay. If our spine can do that, so we can use it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't or you couldn't or you don't do this. I will just explain why I consider this to be better way. And for myself, I just bend down that way, because last time I blew my back, it was bending down to flip the burger in the oven. All right? And I stayed there, looking at the burger. All right, so next picture will show us the difference. I asked my model to undress in the forest. So on the left, I don't know, you see it? The difference. So there is little musculature action here, and I can see the spine protruding, right? If you want to see it closer, come after the lecture. I will show you privately those pictures. Maybe some others as well. So on the right, you can see that he's bending down with straight back, and how much more musculature is involved, right? So now here I have to ask what's holding up the upper body, right? Because now my upper body is being held by my lower body. It's stacked over my lower body, and then upper body is pressing into bones of my legs, so I'm being held up. So now, what's holding my upper body? There's no support below me. So something here has to hold me, right? And when we bend down like this, most of the load is going to the spine and other structures. Here, most of the load is going to the musculature of the back and of the back side, back muscles of our legs and big glute muscles. Here, our back muscles of the legs are not as active, and huge load is going to the spine itself, to the fascia, to skin. So maybe you can do it 1,000 times without problems. But on the 1,001st time, maybe something goes, bad. So I would encourage incorporate this kind of movement into our everyday life. Because my approach is like how to turn our everyday life into a gym. Yeah? I don't have to find 1 hour in the evening after work to go to the gym and to work out. If I can incorporate this movement into my day, it's already kind of like gym. Okay, it's without the weight, like extra weight, but if I bend down like this 30 times a day or more, it's a workout. And you saw in the next picture that muscles are working, right? So every time I bend down, my muscles are working. So I'm strengthening them. I keeping them active, and that's the point. We need to use our muscles more and safeguard other structures which are not supposed to hold our body, right? Like ligaments. Everybody knows what is ligament? Saite. Everybody knows the difference between ligament and tendon. Saite and cipsla. So ligament is holding together, it is connecting bone to bone, right? And tendon, muscle, turns into tendon and gets connected to the bone, right? So that's the difference. And we use muscles and in extension tendons, but we want to safeguard our ligaments because it's not their job to hold our body parts. Okay. And the second fundamental movement is squat or sitting down, right? And these are two movements like bending down and squatting. If we incorporate them in our everyday lives, I believe we're like more than halfway there of safeguarding our physical health. And can you tell me when we use squat or sitting down during the day, what daily actions? Just shout them out. Sitting down where? Toilet. Where else? Desk, work. Else? Car. Right. Bus. Anybody sitting down just without the chair? Without any physical structures underneath our butts? Yes. Okay, so if we incorporate that in every action we do, bus, car, table, eating, watching telly, presentation. Okay, so let's analyze it a little bit. You would be surprised to know that many people don't know how to squat, even in their 70s. I've had people initiating squat like this. Can you squat? Of course I can. What happens when we initiate squat like that? As you see by this red line, that's the gravitational pull. There's nothing below our knees supporting the knees, right? Whereas if we initiate the movement from the hips, our knees get supported, right? So this is a sure way to hurt our knees in the long run. And again, you will have people who will tell you it's okay to let the knees go over your toes. You will have. I mean, it's up to anybody how they want to move. I would not recommend it unless it's in a deep squat. Yeah, then it's okay if the knees go over the toes, because my upper body is supported by big muscles of my legs, and my knees are carrying much less weight. Here, what is holding my upper body? Maybe quads, a little bit of calf muscles, but majority of load is on the knees. So we'll have a volunteer here. Here we go. Would you like to show us how you squat? Maybe sideways, yes.
Like that?
Sideways.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Slowly. Okay. I like the way you initiate it.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would tell you to pay attention to is your knees, so they don't go together, right? So they stay straight, or they can go to the outside. Okay? Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to try a squat? And I see you have minimalist shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, them as well.
We see each other, yes. Very good squat. Thank you very much. Okay. Is there anybody here who is not sure how to squat? Braveheart? Okay. So, anyways, we can practice at home when nobody's watching. So, remember, the movement, we initiate the movement in the hips. So, our butt goes back, our hips go back. That's what I meant. And only then we sit down. So we try to keep our shins as parallel to the floor as possible. And the end result is like this. Okay. So always hips back, and then we descend. So if we incorporate those two movements into our everyday life, every time I need to sit on the chair, toilet, public transport, car a little bit more different. But it's a variation of squat. If we ride the bicycle, it's a variation of squat, right? So if we get used to that motion, our knees will be safe, our hips will be safe, our backs will be safe. We will be using our muscles. That's what I mean by gym in everyday life, right? If you still want to go after work to the gym, nobody's stopping you, right? But these two movements are critical to incorporate. Okay. What is the chair doing in the forest? So now I wanted to present positions we can use or cycle through during a working day. Because, the problem is not the sitting in itself. The problem is that we spend so much time in a single position. And the most critical point I would like to draw your attention to is that when we sit, a lot of the muscles in the body shorten, right? They cross through our joints. So when we sit, they shorten. This is our neutral length for most of the muscles in the body. But when we sit, they shorten. And body adjusts to the positions we hold most often. And It then perceives it as our neutral position. And muscles adjust and they stay in the shortened position. And then when we decide to stand up, something's not right. They're having hard time to lengthening and going to their neutral position. So in our seniors, I see a lot of body adaptations. I will see some seniors who are walking like this, which is hip flexors, which are in short state. They don't allow our upper body to straighten. Then I will see seniors who walk with bent knees. They cannot straighten their knees. It's because their hamstrings and calves are tightened as well, and they couldn't get them back to normal length. They cannot straighten their knees. And also, and especially women, if you sit in high heels, that's the shortest position for the calf muscles, right? So, maybe just high heels for the parties, and then for the office, as low as a heel as possible, or minimal shoes. So, yes, if our calves are shortened, then our ankle range of motion is reduced as well. So we will see our seniors walking with stiff ankles. And that leads to tripping and falling. And falls are the leading cause of injury, and many of our seniors do not recover afterwards. So it's imperative to take care of our ranges of motions in our joints, which means we need to move more. And it does not necessarily have to be something extra. We can move while we sit on the chairs during work. This is called working on a company time, right? I'm working, and somebody asks, what you're doing? I'm working and I'm working out, So at the end of the day, you're like, I feel quite fresh. So we're going to go through some possible positions on the chair, which probably we would not do in the open office. They have been to my lecture, yeah, sure. But if you work from home, or if you have a closed table, nobody sees, then you can do some of this.
Open office, open legs.
Here you go. Open office, open legs. Yes, I like it. So, this is the first position. And why is he sitting on the very end of the chair? Who can tell me?
So he would hold his spine upright by himself, not with the help of the chair.
Good point, right? Any other? Yes.
Or he's like, he just cannot reach back of chair with his spine because it's blind.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Yes. Sorry?
He's ready.
Good.
Not holding weapons. Holding. Legs also left of your back.
Okay.
Working. You'll be
Okay, good point.
This question does not allow to sit long time. Minute. So
Okay.
you have to
But this actually gives a little bit more space for legs to move. Say, because if you just sit very deep in the chair, you can't really move your legs.
Right. All are very good points, right? And I will talk about one more. So he's sitting on his pelvis, right? On the upper part of the pelvis. And he's not sitting on his hamstrings. If he was sitting all the way to the back, he would be sitting on his hamstrings, back of our legs, right? Which presses on our soft tissue and on our blood vessels and restricts the blood flow. Has anybody ever gotten up from a chair with that leg? That's what it does, sitting on our soft tissue. You know, my worst nightmare is waking up in the middle of the night when I have slept like this and both of my arms are numb. And I'm like, and the other option is when I sleep on my belly, the same stuff. I might wake up, I can't feel my arms. I have to keep my head up, blood starts flowing. I will not have to amputate my arms. Okay, so yeah, so this way, free blood flow. Of course, I don't expect you to sit 8 hours like this, right? All office sits like this for 8 hours, right? It would be. Looks like what?
Like bus driver or something.
Well, yeah. Exactly. Good observation. So, okay. Also, variation of, and by the way, what this does, they put our hips in external rotation, right? External rotation means joint rotates away from the body. Internal rotation is joint rotates towards the midline. So external rotation stabilizes the joint. It's like, you know, now it's free and okay, but when we want to lift some weights, the cue in the gym always for guys is to screw your feet in the ground, external rotation, and then bend the bar. Anybody have heard these cues in the gym? Yeah, strong guys? Bend it. So what does it do? It puts our joints in external rotation. So basically, this is how my joint is, how it just is. But when I put it in external rotation, I really, you know, stabilize my joint, and now I can lift big weights. And also, even without weights, when we put our hips in external rotation, it stabilizes the lower spine. So anybody sleeps at night with one leg like this? It's comfortable for the lower back. If we don't do that, you know, we have pressure on the lower back. Number 4, yeah, that is external rotation. And this is good one in, if you're a passenger in a car or in the plane, long trips. So we keep our hips, you know, in stable position and relieve our lower back. By the way, how I'm doing on time? I have to speed up, I think. This is a lunge. Because we sit a lot of, we spend a lot of time in flexed positions. It's important to go to opposite position. So opposite to flexion is extension, right? So we need to extend our joints as well and stretch our muscles because they get used to this position, and we spend little time in extended positions. So lunge is a very good exercise, and we can do it while sitting. This is top of the foot stretch. Standing, it would look like this. So we stretch muscles in front of our lower leg and foot.
So what about working standing up? Better?
I'm getting to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
This is squat variations on a chair. 1 leg, 2 legs. Again, maybe not in the open office, but who knows? You can come up with something more, right? This is Seiza, Japanese position. And this is lifting the feet up so we can work on our calf muscles also. And calf muscles, but do you know what the calf muscles are called?
Second half.
Excellent. Second heart. because blood, when the blood is in our feet, the blood is at the furthest point away from the heart, right? And now it has to get back to the heart against the pull of gravity. And heart has a hard time doing that on its own, right? So using our muscles helps pumping the blood back up to the heart. So that's why it's so important to work on our calves. Sitting, standing, and I will talk about walking shortly. It's not a religious ritual, okay? It's we need to move our spine through all 6 movements during the day, right? So to keep it mobile, so we can turn when we need to, and just be flexible, be free. So this is flexion, this is extension, sideways bend, and a rotation. 4 movements for the spine. I said 6. Why did I say 6? 8 to the both sides. All right, and this is just for the kind of like during working hours, right? We can do it standing and doing yoga classes and whatever. But I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible to do it in the chair, right? This is excellent. One of the whole body movements. Excellent for the back of the legs, stretching calves, stretching hamstrings. It's good for the upper back and for the shoulders. It's amazing if you can incorporate it a few times a day. You can do it holding to the chair. You can do it pressing against the wall. It's super good. This is kind of like repeating a little bit. This is looks like a squat, doesn't it? It's my favorite position, by the way, when I go to the kitchen and make some drink or something, and I look out the window, and I'm like always in this position, and it works hip muscles really well. So if somebody has trouble going to the deep squat, you can start here, 1 leg at a time. Now, standing table. I noticed there are a lot of adjustable tables. I'm happy about it. Nose table tennis, amazing. So I will not talk a lot about standing table. This is more about what we can do on the chair, but this is a little bit of teaser. What we can do at the stand, it just offers us so much freedom and opportunities to do so many things while standing at a standing desk. Good for inner thighs, good for balance. Again, external rotation. We can stretch our quad, which is tight in most people, and if it's tight, knee pain can arise from this low back pain, can arise from tight quad. So we can do this at the standing table. One of the, can somebody tell me how much time I've got? No? Do I have to really run through this, or I have some time? So one of the best exercises we can do is work on our lateral hip. Why? Because when we walk, walking is holding our weight on our leg, switching to another. So we spend time when our body is being held by one leg and mostly bilateral hip. So if we want to be able to walk into the old age, we need strong lateral hips. What can we do? Stand on any surface that is higher than the floor. It can be a step, it can be a book. And both legs straight. We lower one side down and up. Knees straight, and just working my lateral hip, right? Super important exercise. And I will talk in a minute about how we can use it when we going up the stairs, going down the stairs, going down the hills. We can save our knees and help out with our hips. We can share the load. Okay, this is the gait pattern. Can you tell me? No, let's do this. Let's vote. How many of you lift your legs when walking? You make a step by lifting your leg. Only 2, 3 people? Okay, so how is the rest of you walking? Okay, I'll make it easier. How many people walk by lifting the leg as compared to as pushing off? How many are pushing off? Okay, pretty good. Okay. And we want to be pushing off. The more our leg goes below the midline, right? It's when the glute gets contracted and involved in the movement. If we lift our leg before it goes below our midline, glute does not get activated, right? And calf muscles don't get activated. So the more we move it and keep our heel on the ground and then we push off, the more we activate calf muscles, glute muscles. That's another gym exercise. Yeah, we're working out our butts and calves. And I will see a lot of seniors walking like this. Are my calves working? Is my butt working? No. Okay, so we want to really, I'm exaggerating, now I will look like a stork. But as far as it can, and then we push off. Okay. Has anybody seen seniors walking down the stairs sideways?
Yeah.
Because it requires quite a lot of range of motion in our ankles, right? This is going up, this is going down. Look how much range of motion we need. And a lot of them don't have it. So they just adapt. That's why it's important to go through the ranges of our joints during the day, right? So squat is one of the best things we can do. My ankles are working, my knees are, and my hips, 3 joints at the same time, are near end range, right? But if this is the lowest we go during the day, they don't go through the whole range of motion, right? And in time, we can lose the rest of the range if we don't go lower than that. In cultures where people sleep on the floor and they get on the floor and get up from the floor, they have less falls and injuries as a result. In America, number 1 reason people go to nursing homes because they can't get up from the floor, right? If you don't practice it, you can't do it. And what we don't use, we lose. So if you want to keep movement in our joints and muscles be strong, we have to use it. So if this is too deep, again, we can hold to something and just go as deep as we can, right? But we go to the end ranges and we develop strength there. Just stretching and forcing something that isn't there is not going to work. We need to develop strength. So if I can go here, I go here. Maybe in a week I go here. But if we want to keep this movement and our joints working, we have to cycle through. And the bonus is for the shoulders. This is a precursor for hanging. People who can hang have strong shoulders and arms. Okay, hanging is the best. Maybe you don't have bar here in the office or at home. So we can do like this, doorways. Every time we go through the doorway, I'll pretend this is doorway. Hold to the doorway and, strengthen and stretch your shoulder. This is as well can be done at the doorway. Also, we can lift our arms in the doorway and work on our shoulders that way. So, keep them strong and mobile. Quickly about gravitational forces. So now I'm standing, I'm holding my weight, which we could say is 1-to-1. One G activity, which means I hold exact weight that I have. If I start moving that weight, it increases. Weight in motion increases the force, right? So movement and walking is like 1.5 to 1.75 G activity. So here's an example. 80 kg in motion is 120, 140 kg in force. And running is 2-3 G activity, which means 80 kilograms turn into 162, 140 kilograms. Why is it important? If we sit most of the day, we're not even carrying our whole weight. It's not even 1-to-1 relationship. It's less than that. Our legs are not doing much. And depending on how we sit, if we're active, then okay, we carry some of the weight. But if we relax in the chair, then we carry very little weight. It's not even 1-to-1. And then after work, I'm going to put my running shoes. I'm going to go and run and increase my, load and pressure to my joints and everything 3 times. I'm not even holding my weight, right? So first we learn to crawl, walk, and then run. So we need to hold our weight more often. So our muscles remain strong. Our bone density remains strong. Yeah, we don't lose bone density because if we hold our weight, our bones remain strong. So let's be mindful what activities we do. Walking is one of the safest and best activity we can do. It's a whole body activity, low risk. A lot of body parts are involved, and just go for a walk as often as you can. 15 minutes every hour. 1 hour. Meetings during walking, calls with family, friends. Now there's 2 models, and this is a position that is missing in our lives because I am observing our seniors a lot. I walk around 2 hours every day, and what I see is they're missing this movement in everyday. A lot of seniors are really good at bending down, really good, even in compromised situations when there are severe rotations in their joints and they're barely walking, but suddenly when they need to bend down, boom! That is when we practice one motion all over again and again, we are really good at it. But if we don't do other motions, we can't do them. So if we, again, reminder, bend down, squat, we should be golden. Thank you very much. Wow. Who do we start with? Here we go.
We discussed a lot of things with the spine and legs, how they should stay, yes. But here everyone from IT. And what about mouse? With which angle should we use mouse?
90 degrees.
There should be some mouses are small, some mouses are bigger. And I saw even mouses vertical. So it's a different position of your hand. So
Right.
some was like this, some was
Right.
some are using this part.
So the most important thing is to hold your arm 90 degrees, right? And then 90 degrees and the forearms. But I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this position as well because it's external rotation. Yeah.
A lot of colleagues they are complaining about pain. even more if they're using bicycle to work or bike
Right.
also.
Right. So on the bicycle, I recommend what I do on the bicycle. I hold it like this. Again, look, it holds it puts my shoulders in external rotation, stable position. Some people are like, what are you doing? Why are you holding like this? Right? So we don't want to be reaching for that mouse. We want it 90 degrees, and if our mouse is like this, we want straight. Not like this, not like this. We want it straight, right?
What about breaks?
Bicycle breaks?
Breaks. How often shall we take it? So like here.
Right.
How long was the presentation? Shall we change positions?
Sure. I should have mentioned probably, but I would even have encouraged. But the way the chairs are too close, if you start doing this and stuff like this, it would probably not work. But at least every hour. And if you have standing desk, 40 minutes sitting, 20 minutes standing, and take 10-15 minute break. And even if you don't take a break, but you cycle through positions while sitting and then standing, right? You're already moving. Your muscles are in neutral, but it's good to take a break, walk, even to the bathroom, back to the kitchen, and back. Yeah, every hour.
Best walk is to the fridge.
Yeah, beer fridge. Yes, yes.
Thank you for such a wonderful tips and tricks. There's one more I have learned in Himalayas that people use there for ages to improve their health and mobility. And that is simply removing chairs and shoes. So not using chairs and walk as much as you can.
I could probably do the presentation just on the feet and shoes just on that. I didn't even mention it here, right? But it would be challenging to remove chairs. We need to gradually transition. Another position I didn't mention is a floor sitting, right? Because it requires the most range of motion in our joints, and we have to gradually get to the floor. I didn't mention it, but I could talk about that as well. So gradually from the chairs to the ground, gradually from the shoes with heels to the minimalist shoes. We cannot just chuck all our shoes out and, yeah, somebody from that side.
Oh, sorry. How many questions do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's
You can choose who asked the question.
No.
No?
They will beat me later. As usual. So okay, let's try it quick. Let's try all quick.
Quick questions, short answers.
We spend also almost 8 hours in the bed. What's the best sleeping position?
We have next expert on sleep who will hopefully address this question. Okay, next question. Yes. Mirror is the best, it's objective, but floor and the wall are objective tools to measure your body's kind of like movement potential. We could put you on the floor and go through different tests of ranges of motion and get objective markers. Like you think, oh, I can lift my arms over my head. But if I put you on the floor and tell you to keep your ribcage on the floor, suddenly you discover that your shoulders go only as much as this, and the rest is ribcage thrusting forward, right? So extra. So yeah, floor and wall, but probably you would have to know what you're doing. But mirror is the best. Yeah.
Easy question maybe. About motivation, most of the people have heard about good positions and everything else. It's not a lack of knowledge. What to do for people just to start who are lazy to do it? Not to wait for serious problems. So what motivates them? What is the first step, or I don't know, maybe what helped you?
Bodies. decide with 2-3 people that you're going to do it together. You encourage each other. When you see somebody in compromising position, you just politely let them know that your head is in your head is in front of your body, or you're slouching, and then you go together, maybe organize walks together, because it's like a snowball effect, right? You start it, and then you start feeling good, and it just picks up. It's like habit formation. We have habits which we keep doing, and then new habits take time to develop. But if you have like accountability buddies, it's much easier.